Welcome back. I got a Gibson ES-225T for thinline on the bench today. First we're going to take it on up to 25,000, then we're going to go ahead and descend on into the tone zone. This guitar needs some nut work, some fret work, some bridge work, and overall TLC, which is what it's going to get. Here we're looking at the frets. They are in rough shape. The nibs are gone, obviously. Some are shorter than others. We got cracking and weird stuff happening. So it desperately needs a refret, but we're going to work with what we got. There you'll see the binding's a little loose. And it's had a headstock break, which accounts for the weird paint job on the back. It almost looks like the back of the guitar was brushed on. You got fingerprints on the neck. There's no serial number on the back of the headstock. If this thing could talk. See, it almost looks like it was brushed on. The bridge isn't seated fully to the body. The customer liked that bridge. He likes a rosewood sound, but it just wasn't making full contact, so I'll address that. And the nut is high, but overall the nut is just in rough shape. So we're going to make a new nut. Got some shims in there. So here I'm removing the old nut, which was not original, and it was shaped real funky. We had shims on the front of the shelf, which was strange. I'm making sure I'm keeping things square, just removing that shim material, which was like business card or something. Then we have a nut blank and a pre-slotted nut. In the end, I chose the pre-slotted nut because it was very close to fitting. Saves me some sanding time. And here I'm addressing some of the high frets. I'm using the fret kisser to identify which frets are the problem, and then I will file the high spots. A combination of gluing and filing. And then I will do the fret dress. The reality is this guitar needs a refret, bad. But what I did to it helped it a lot. I'd say like 98%. At least there's no buzzing, It's better. Save the customer some money. Putting on the bodyguard. Everybody's seen this, just marking the frets with a marker. And then we're going to move to this wild and crazy fret dress segment. So I've split the video into two parts. What you're seeing on the left is the beginning of the fret dress process, and what you're seeing on the right is from the middle to the end. So there might be some overlap, but you can see me crowning the frets with my fret file on the left and polishing on the right. And kind of just more of the same. It's fun though. Probably took around an hour, give or take. And then I'm going to wipe off all the debris with some mineral spirits. Now let's get to that nut. So I'm going to start filing the slots to the proper depth. Checking. The setup process starts to happen also when I'm making a new nut. Then I'm taking material off the top. You don't want the string to sit too deep in the slots. All right, and I'm starting to round over the ends. Just a little bit. I'll refine that later. I'm making sure that there is the proper amount of distance between both these there. Don't want the strings falling off the porch, as they say. Sharpening my pencil lead. And I'm going to strike a really accurate line on the bottom of that nut on both sides. So I'll sand to that line. I'm going to use some leather dye. I believe this is called like mocha java or something. Sometimes I'll use a combination of Coke and coffee or one or the other mixed with the leather dye. And it depends how much time you have, but you can make this look really accurate, you know, like an old nut if you want to. I'm on a time crunch here, so I'm just going to do it enough to make it look less new. There's the old one to the right. And when you buff it, some of that dye will come off, but also some of it will stick inside the pores of the bone. And it really has a cool look. It's just a nice touch if you can. And here I'm sanding down those sides of the bridge, making it sit flat on the body. This turned out to be the hardest part. This took me a long time, like hours. Eventually the customer is going to need a new bridge. He knows this, but it's going to be better than what it was. Going to use the strings he provided. That pickup is not original. I think it's a Fralin. Checking it out, seeing how it plays. Polishing it up. Here's Paul Yoon checking the setup. He really liked this guitar a lot. Alright, thank y'all for watching. This is the twirl videos I've been doing. I was happy with the way it turned out. The customer was happy with how it turned out. And I will see y'all next time. See ya. Later.